Come to Oklahoma to beat Texas.
Yeah.
I was born and raised in Austin. They didn't recruit me. Grew up 15 miles from their campus. I can't stand them. And anything they do, I don't care. You know, talk to the NFL guys, they say I have to calm it down a little bit, but when it comes to Texas, absolutely not. I can't stand them. No, just end of story.
Thanks.
Put that one on Twitter. Put that one on Twitter.
You are now listening to Podcast Like a Champion Today, an OU football podcast produced by fans for fans. Now, here are your hosts, Noah, Joe, Johnny, and Christian.
What's up, Sooner Nation? We are rolling into week 6 of college football. Welcome back to another episode of Podcast Like a Champion Today. We're coming off of OU TCU week. If you want to hear about our thoughts from that, make sure you go back and listen to our Saturday podcast or Sunday podcast post game where we gave our thoughts, our breakdowns, and kind of what happened to that game. Obviously a tough week. As you listen to those, whatever platform you listen on, go ahead and give us a 5-star review. Leave a comment, leave a rating, let people know if you're enjoying what's going on. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter. That's where we announce special guests that we're going to have, giveaways, all different kinds of stuff. So, and then today, make sure you listen to our whole episode because we do have our first big-time special guest. Former OU great and Super Bowl champion Geneo Grissom is on the podcast with us. And so we got to talk to him. He shared some thoughts about OU Texas, some stories from his time at OU, and it was just a great time. So make sure you listen to that. But let's jump into one of the biggest weeks OU has all year, the Red River game. I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts on that. Johnny, what are you thinking heading into Texas week?
Yeah, man, I am really excited for this game, actually. I obviously love OU football and love watching it at any point, but, you know, when the two teams have nothing to lose, like standings-wise, it seems like, it just creates a more competitive game and an emotion-fueled game. And I'm excited to see that. Obviously, Texas has a very talented team. I've talked about that since the beginning of the season, but Noah's talked about this before too. Like, we love to just see the passion of the game, and we love to see teams go out there and just dog it out, series for series, and I'm just interested to see how it plays out. But
yeah, this is for players that either commit to OU or Texas. This is the reason to play in this game on this stage with that fan atmosphere. And this year, both the programs have the same record, but feels like OU is here and Texas is here just because the timing of the losses and kind of how they happen. It's going to be really interesting this game. The thing I'm looking for is the defense to kind of show some of the hustle and like technique they showed in the first 3 games that kind of had people around the program thinking like, oh, this defense has changed overnight. Whether that's simplifying the game plan for this to get the calls in better or maybe some new personnel or just some new stuff they've been working on practice this week. That's kind of my takeaway, as well as just starting off solid.
Yeah.
All the games this year, OU's kind of gotten a hole early. There's been a lot of, maybe every game has started in an opponent like getting points on the first drive. Certainly the first 2, but if OU can say Texas wins the toss and they can get a 3 and out to start the game, it's going to be really big.
I think that goes both ways too, Noah. We haven't the last 2 games got off to a good start on offense. We didn't, we didn't score against K-State right away. We fumbled against TCU, and so I think, man, yeah, getting off to a hot start would be great for our team. I'll be honest with you, listeners. Sometimes you might hear us ask a question or repeat something. We recorded this once already, and it did not record the right ways. Twice, kind of. Yeah. So we're recording again. So, Johnny, I know you had brought this up whenever we had done this before. I can't remember if you said it just now during your thing, but the last time these 2 teams played that neither team was ranked. Did you talk about that on just a minute ago?
Mm-mm.
Johnny had brought that up. Johnny, tell him what year, the last time that OU and Texas played and neither team was ranked.
This is 1998.
1998. I was
Mhm.
2. I
Yeah.
was 2 years old.
This is the first time OU isn't favored since 2014.
Mhm.
Golly. And if you would have asked anyone before the season, hey, week 6, game day is going to be at a Big 12 game, I don't think anybody would have bet money that it would be in Lawrence, Kansas. Like, I just don't think no one would think Kansas TCU would get this game day. So just a crazy, shocking season so far. Obviously, I think my main thing looking at this is if we can get a win here, I think it really could turn our season around and get us going in the right direction. If we think about our 2020 season, we started off bad there with a loss to Kansas State and Iowa State. We were 1-2 going into Texas week. We won at Texas, and then we went undefeated for the rest of the season. And it's whenever we beat Florida in the bowl game. And so I'm hoping OU can really show up to this game. We flip the kind of the direction of where we're going, our momentum right now. We get rolling, and we finish the season strong. So,
And it just because we were at the game last year, that was about the worst start you could have to a game. And that took some serious offensive firepower to even get back in it. With this team, I don't think they can get down in that 14-0 hole in the first 2 minutes of the game. They're not going to be able to dig their way out of that. So, like as we talked about, just a good start is going to go a long way towards being a competitive game.
Honestly,
sure.
though, last year, Joe, you had some great moments at the game last year. And I just really think that this team could use some more of your magic this year at the game.
I mean, if anybody has free OU Texas tickets and wants me to go to the game and take my shirt off, be my guest. But I'll tell
I'll
you
go
this.
with you, Joe.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I'm excited to just see a competitive game. I just want OU to come out and, with that mentality of like, we're not going to lay down. We're going to fight till the end, and win or lose, we're going to play our butts off. But I'll tell you this. QB, whoever the QB is this week, I know that we're not sure. I know BV hasn't released like any information as far as Dylan Gabriel and if he's going to go or who it's going to be. But I will tell you one thing. We will absolutely have the best looking quarterback on Saturday.
Yes,
There's
sir.
no doubt about it. I mean, we got Dylan Gabriel, great looking kid. Bevel, great looking kid. Booty, great looking kid. Evers, great looking kid.
Like a Bowens.
Evers is kind of hot, actually.
Whoa.
Quinn Ewers. Hey, relax. But Quinn Ewers,
Yuck.
Quinn Ewers looks like Joe Exotic, and he
Joe
looks
Dirt.
like he kind of smells a little bit. So that's why I think that like looks are definitely on our side, and obviously he's wearing that burnt orange, so that doesn't look good either. But anyway, that's my little trash talk 2 cents. But we got any other?
Johnny had brought
Go
up
ahead.
that we went to the game last year, and that's just going into this week always just brings back good memories for me. It was obviously a great game to be at. I got to thank my guys for not leaving me. I didn't wake up in time that morning. I literally moved the night before, didn't know we were going to go to the game, slept through my alarm. I was moving till like 2 a.m., supposed to wake up at 4:30. Noah was the only one that knew where I lived because he helped me move. So I really got lucky.
Literally the night before, I came up early and helped him move, and so I wake up like 3:30 in the morning, get my shower in, go grab some Whataburger breakfast for the whole crew, and I get there and Joe and I are there and we're just kind of waiting and call him and he's just not answering. So after about 20 minutes, I was like, all right, let's go to, and we planned things out pretty well. So it kind of put us behind the 8 ball in terms of our schedule. But
I was just
yeah,
sleeping on a mattress on the ground, no blankets, no phone charger. My phone was dead. I just woke up to y'all banging on my window, and so appreciate y'all not letting me miss out on a super fun day. Noah, you had a pretty crazy moment with the Fox, though.
Yeah, anyone that saw the game, I want to say they showed it on TV or something, maybe going into commercial, but there was a fox on the field. It was doing some laps, getting a good standing ovation from the fans, and everyone's standing up, so I couldn't really see, but it jumps the wall and comes into our section. We're about like 8 rows up. I just see the people in front of me just get out of the way, like this direct path. And this thing runs in between my legs and like rubs up against me and then just keeps going. I was disappointed in myself because with all the cameras and attention it drew, if I grab it and hold it up by the tail or the neck or something, I'm the hero. I'm in the Twitter Hall of Fame, all that stuff.
Would have been wild.
I'd be plugging my sound.
Shout out
I'd be
to
plugging
that
my
Fox.
SoundCloud. I'd be plugging my
Shout out to that
SoundCloud
Fox.
down below. Yeah, shout out to Fox. But
We'd love to have you on the
love to have
podcast.
yeah, wasn't quick enough, and yeah.
Maybe my favorite
We had
memory
a
of
lot
the day,
of-
though, was Joe fighting through the crowd to get to Mark Cuban.
Yeah.
Joe, let the people know.
Yeah, so fought through the crowd, and if you guys can't see how big and small we are, well, none of us are small, but I'm
Hey,
shaped
come on
like
now. Don't do me like that.
yeah, you're not small,
Yeah,
but
you're really small. Joe's about 5 yards wide, though.
I'm about 5 yards wide. I'm shaped like a box. And Noah and Johnny and Christian, they have an ability to like make themselves skinny and kind of crunch their shoulders in and get through crowds of people. You see, I don't have that. If I do that, then I knock a bunch of old ladies over and then I have a lawsuit on my hands. But anyway, it took me about 45 minutes to get to our seats. But when I finally did, I started going off. I took off my shirt. I flashed Kirk Herbstreit and Desmond Howard. They saw me. They had to keep their professionalism.
They for sure
and make
saw
their
you. They
picks.
looked at you and looked away.
Yeah.
So they're doing their picks live. So everyone knows it's that action-packed little like 8-minute segment where they're just going, and Reese is kind of the moderator keeping them on track. Like you'll hear him say like, "We got to go." So they're locked in. Like the last thing they're trying to do is get distracted by some dude in the crowd. But that's exactly what Joe was there to do.
Yeah, and I was fortunate enough to get Mark Cuban's attention after he made his pick. He picked Texas. He was wrong. He came over, and we were about 8 rows up. I got his attention, and I flashed him the goodies and asked him for a job. So that was definitely a good.
goodies.
He blew me a kiss. He did, right? Like you guys were there.
Yeah, like he
His-
stopped and pointed at you and then blew you a
Yeah.
kiss. He was definitely like he knew who you were in that moment. He was definitely all
In
you
that
and him right
moment,
there.
I had Mark Cuban's attention.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
They're about,
And then you asked for the job and you lost it.
and then I lost his attention. He walked away. But hey, you got to create opportunities for yourself, right? I don't think
sure.
anybody else in that stadium got to ask Mark Cuban for a job.
It's true.
And Joe rallied the section. Everyone was rooting for Joe pregame. Game day's right in front of us. The whole section is just pointing at him,
Dying
like yelling,
laughing.
like that. The lady next to him was giving him a dirty look. I think I have that in one of the videos. She was just like, "What?" She probably didn't even know who Mark Cuban was. But
She
yeah,
didn't know who Joe Irwin Comedy was either, but she was about
But-
to.
That's
she
also
didn't know about the pizza bully.
no. That's also where our profile picture came from. Whenever me, Joe, and
Yeah.
Noah with our buddy Drew, we cropped Johnny over Drew in that picture. But that's our
I'll throw
profile
up
picture.
I'll throw up a side by side, and I'll let y'all see. So sorry, Johnny didn't get the invite, but next time we go, I'm sure we'll all go together. So
And just to be clear, it's not that we didn't invite Johnny. The fourth guy was the one who had the tickets, so he invited the three of us. Johnny, we love you. We would always take you.
Sure. That's okay. I just watched it at home by myself. Well, looking at this game, I think there's a lot of cool matchups. I'm excited to see our DBs challenge some good receivers like Xavier Worthy. I'm excited to see Marvin Mims challenge their DBs. I think they have some great offensive and defensive linemen, and so do we. So the battle in the trenches is going to be there. But honestly, if I had to like pick a thing I'm going to be focusing on for this game, it's definitely going to be the matchup of our linebackers and their running backs, specifically David Agwebu and Danny Stutzman versus Bijan Robinson. There's going to be a lot of times where he's going to bounce out and make a dude miss. He just has that ability. It's not that our players can't make a tackle. Let's just get this out right now, actually. I swear on my life, if I see 1,000 people on Twitter getting mad about us arm tackling or whatever, if it's a true arm tackle, I get it. But we have to give other players respect. Like, there's so many people that are mad about Deuce Robinson making people miss. Like, that's what he does. That's why he's going to the NFL. It's not that our players are bad.
Deuce Vaughn.
Gosh dang it. I do that every time. Sorry.
You did it yesterday.
Yeah, okay. Deuce Robinson is a freaking beast tight end that I hope OU has a chance at, but I feel like he's going to USC. Sorry. Deuce Vaughn, for our listeners, the Kansas State running back. Anyways, so Bijan is going to bounce a couple out, and Agwebu and Stutzman are going to have to make open field tackles, and that's going to be good tape for them if they can do that moving on in their career.
Yeah. And I feel like they have to be put in a better position to be successful against the run. The scheme's going to have to change for this game. If your secondary can't defend the pass well, you need to at least take away the run and kind of stack the box and then make Hudson Card or Quinn Ewers beat you with their arm. But you can't just concede the run to Bijan Robinson because they'll just run it all day. I mean, TCU averaged like 9 yards a carry on the ground against that three-man front. So if you go to a more traditional front, that frees up Stutzman, Agwebu, Kanik, Deshaun White to have those open field tackle situations and to kind of angle themselves in towards like where their help is coming from so they can get 2-3 guys making the tackle. With this three-man front, you're getting first in passing situations, you're getting the ends doubled or like it. The math just doesn't work. Like, you're allowing the guards to work up to the second level and engage linebackers in the run game. And then in passing situations, you're getting Reggie Grimes and Ethan Downs doubled. It's just against a team like Texas where they can control the game just running the ball with Bijan 30 times, you've got to commit to stopping the run.
Yeah, and to add to that, I mean, obviously, I think we'd all like to see our defensive line just really step up this week and just go out there like some crazy dogs. But specifically, I would love to see the interior defensive line get more extension and get more, explosiveness out of their stance and get off their blocks and be some run stoppers. I mean, I know that guys like Jeffrey Johnson and Isaiah Coe I know they can be some dogs, and they're capable of that. It's just that's something we've kind of seen them struggle with the last few weeks. So that's something that I'm hoping for this week is that they can come out and just be really aggressive and just disruptive. That's what we need from them.
I think that's a super, Joe, what you said is like goes right into what Geno told us in the interview today whenever he's talking about his training, teaching young men how to turn their arms and their hands into weapons. And just that mindset of like, we want to see our front seven get physical and aggressive like that. Like to just picture like their arms, their hands as weapons, to use that to get off of blocks, to punish the linemen and to clog up the holes and get tackles. I think we're all looking for that. We want to just see them be vicious and just disrupt plays. So
Yeah. For me, a big thing is going to be how we start the game. Sorry, Joe. OU has started really slow this year, offensively and defensively. Seems like everyone's scored on pretty much the first possession of the game on us, and then on offense, we aren't scoring on the first possession. So if Texas gets the ball first, getting a 3 and out, that first drive is going to be huge. Last year, they were in a 14-0 hole before you could even blink. And, I mean, we were there, and it was rough. Like, we looked at each other thinking, oh, boy. But I don't think the offense has the firepower of last year, at least not from what we've seen from backup quarterbacks, which is most likely the scenario we're going to be facing this game. But, they're not digging out of a hole that big. They've got to bring it from the jump and try and keep it competitive. At the same time, both coaches have been bullish on players' availability. Sark said that their quarterback room is the healthiest it's been. Who knows what that means? If you're them, I know you want to win this game, but OU's kind of down right now. I wouldn't be surprised if they play card and kind of save Quinn for next week, like let him get fully back. He only started practicing this week, so you give him that whole week. And if Hudson's really bad or gets hurt, obviously he's available. But and on OU's side, who knows? Like, I've heard stuff like Gabriel had a grade 2 concussion, so that would put him out like 2 weeks. And then we discovered this as we were recording again, as we were setting up to record again for the second time tonight, third time in the last 2 days, that OU football put out a video like 2 hours ago and Gavin Freeman's on the jugs machine, and you can see Dylan Gabriel in pads throwing a football in the back. So who knows what's going on? I don't even think BV knows at this point. But just, yeah, there's a lot of unknown. Billy Bowman, still don't know. It looks like his might be more serious. He might be out longer, but just the injuries kind of suck because it's hard to like make a prediction about the game when it could go totally opposite right from the jump, depending on who starts.
Absolutely. And, I'm just thinking about past OU Texas games. We have always seen somebody make a big play or have like a coming out game. Obviously, Caleb Williams, put the nation on notice last season with that game.
Wild.
But I can think about games where like Sam Bradford gets hurt. Wasn't it in the Texas game he like broke his collarbone or something like that?
Yeah, he hurt it in the opener and then came back for that game. And it happened again.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right.
So there's always just something major that happens at OU Texas. So we'll see what happens. I mean, speaking of big plays in big rivalry games, we got the privilege of speaking with former NFL defensive end / linebacker Geneo Grissom earlier this week. We're super thankful that he was willing to come on and spend some time with us. And we got to spend a little time just asking him questions about his time at OU and what he's doing now. But we are super blessed to have had that time with him. So for our listeners, we're going to move into our interview with Geneo, and you'll get to hear about our time with him.
There's McCoy going to, throw it away to the nose man on a screenplay. Oh, my goodness. Is this the second defensive lineman to score? It is. Geneo Grissom.
They're trying to throw a middle screen. You think it's a safe play to Malcolm Brown, number 28. But it was well played and executed by Grissom.
From the 18-yard line. McCarron. Pressure from behind, and the ball is out. And it's scooped up by Oklahoma. Touchdown. A.J. McCarron's arm before he could get it going forward. The ball out, and then Geneo Grissom did the rest.
Wow, that's some kind of effort by Grissom. Athleticism. Wow. I think when his knee touched, the ball was across the goal line.
All right, guys, we are so excited to have our first guest on the pod. He's a former Sooner great, a Super Bowl champion, number 85, Geneo Grissom. Man, thank you for joining us. We're super pumped to have you here with us as our first guest. All of us watched you whenever we were younger and watched you make some historic OU plays, some great stuff. And so just want to give you a second to kind of introduce yourself and just tell everybody what you're up to now, post NFL football. So.
Awesome. Well, first of all, I appreciate you guys having me on the podcast. It's an honor to be on the show. But yeah, like Christian said, my name is Geneo Grissom. Played at OU from 2010 to 2015. Currently, I own a training business where essentially I'm giving it back to the kids. I'm teaching young men how to turn their hands and arms into weapons. I like to say turning kids into offensive coordinators' nightmares and defensive coordinators' dreams. And so that's my goal, trying to help, change young men's life trajectories and family trajectories. So that's what I'm up to now.
That's awesome. All right, Geneo, I got my first question. I remember watching you at OU. You made a lot of, like Christian said, you made a lot of historic plays, a lot of plays that got on the highlight reels and everything in OU Texas and OU Alabama. I could name a few, but I wanted to know if you had a favorite on-field memory at OU.
Man. Favorite, that's tough. The one that probably jumps to my mind is, although I live in Texas, I'm not actually what's the phrase I'm looking for? I wasn't born in Texas.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of learn, the intensity of the rivalry between OU Texas. And once I got on board with that, it was just anytime we played Texas, I had a whole different energy. So to answer your question, my favorite, biggest memory is probably my pick six in the OU Texas game.
Awesome.
Obviously, being a Super Bowl champion with the Patriots, played for Bill Belichick. Do you have any funny stories or just intense stories of kind of the guy he is? We all hear stories from Wes Welker, other players like that, of some of the stuff he said to them or funny interactions. But do you have something that sticks out?
Man, Bill. First of all, Bill is incredible. The greatest football mind I've ever been around. I would say one thing about Bill is he is what you see on TV, but he's aware of it. So, we'll be in the squad meetings, the entire team's in there. He's telling us, and early in the season, so he's telling us things that he doesn't want to see throughout the season. Social media, things like that. And so, anytime he'd bring it up, he'd say, "And I don't want to see any of you guys on Snap Face or Box Chat, none of those." Okay. It's every time, never says it right.
That's funny. I love that. We can all relate to that. All of our parents are not trendy whatsoever and talk exactly like that, actually. So, yeah. Especially Joe's mom.
Oh yeah.
So, like I said before we even started recording, we are 4 fat kids, but we all have gone through a lot of summer training and doing all that type of stuff. But you were at OU during the original Schmitty stint. So I wanted to know if there was a specific workout or punishment that you remember from Schmitty while you were there that just still gives you nightmares.
Man, well, to this very day, it's circadian algorithm is when you wake up on your own is at 6:45. It doesn't matter if I went to bed at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I'm waking up at 6:45. Yeah, in my body. So I can thank Schmitty for that. But I would say probably the worst punishment, or I think that I ever had to do was I was kind of always undersized. Or I'll say I always needed to gain more weight. And so that being said, I never made my weight. I was always, 5-10 pounds small. It's supposed to be 250. I'm 245. And so as the punishment, they'd make us get on the Stairmaster for 30 minutes. And so you get on the Stairmaster, you lose 10 pounds. and then you have to drink shakes until you make your weight. So I remember there was one day I was like 10 pounds underweight. And so there's no way I'm drinking that many shakes. So I hit my Stairmaster, lose another 5 pounds. So now I'm 15 under, and I'm trying to get to 250, and I'm just puking everything right back up. So that was probably one of my like worst experiences. And it was just like, all right, I can't keep not making weight. Like I got to figure something out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've talked about that. A lot of the other former players that I've listened to have talked about Schmitty just like always staying cool whenever people miss that. And he just goes, all right, I'll see you on the stair stepper after practice. And they're like, that's just the worst part. Like he's not mad. You just know.
Nope. Yep,
Yeah.
dude hardly yells. And it like you said, calm, cool, collective. I think that's the worst way to get like told you're in trouble.
For sure.
If someone is like, it's all right, just meet me here tomorrow morning at 6:30.
Yeah.
You're like, damn.
They're all calm about it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so going into, obviously, you had a great run at OU, and then you go into the draft. You get drafted in the third round. Pretty amazing to be able to do that, be one of those players taken, especially that early in the draft. And so, but one of the things we hear from a lot of players that used to be in the draft is just some of the weird stuff that happens through the draft process, the combine, the interviews. Did you have any experiences through your interviews or through your combines that stick out to you that you remember of just like, I don't understand why they asked that, but it was funny? Anything like that, or just an overall draft experience?
There was one interview that I did, and right now I cannot remember which team it was. But anyway, we went into a room, and it's at a hotel, right? So we go into they turn the room into basically a meeting room. And all the coaches are sitting on the couch. And so I go in and I sit, and there's a chair basically in the direct center of the room, and there's a TV, like kind of like a typical hotel setup. So I go and I sit in the chair, and I'm facing the coaches, and they're like, turn around. And so I turn around, I now have my back to the coaches. And it's like a good 20 seconds of kind of just silence. So I'm like, okay, what the heck is going on? Well, they turn on the TV, and I think it's like the team psychologist or like therapist or somebody. And he just starts asking me a whole bunch of questions. But I think that was probably my weirdest experience, where like I came in and they all had their notebooks and they're all writing behind me. I have no idea. I'm seeing no reactions, and I'm talking to a dude on a screen in front of me. So that was that was pretty interesting.
Going into the draft, was there like any indication that New England might take you there, or was there another team that you kind of thought if you got to them they were going to take you and maybe didn't?
So that whole experience was actually pretty insane. I was actually projected to be a 5th, 6th round draft pick. And my agent kept telling me like, New England loves you. They love you. They're looking at you in the 3rd. They love you. They love you. And, you go online and you look, and it's like 5th, 6th round, 5th, 6th round. I'm like, man, what are you talking about, man? Like, there's no way. And so the first day goes, nothing, obviously. Second day second round goes, nothing, obviously. And so, it's the end of my draft party. It was supposed to be a 2-day thing, and everybody's getting ready to go home. And then the 97th pick, I can never say it right, compensatory. And they're like, all right, here comes a compensatory pick. And then my phone starts ringing. And at that moment, I just lost it. It said New England or Massachusetts. It said Massachusetts on it. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is it. This is it. I'm going to New England.
So you're watching it in real time on TV as you get the call, and know they're on the clock. That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, Geno, I can relate to you a lot because, like you, I was also an elite football player in 4th grade. So I just wanted to know, for all the young football players out there, see, unfortunately, I didn't make it to the NFL because my 4th grade tape wasn't good enough. But I I just want to know, for all the young football players, what advice would you give anybody that's just a young football player that's trying to be great like you?
Man, if you have a vision for yourself, chase it. Chase it relentlessly. I remember, and I feel like if you ask anybody who knew me when I was little, they would tell you from a young age that I knew I was going to be a professional athlete at some caliber. It's just something that I had a vision for myself, and I didn't see anything else for myself. And it's never too late to create that vision, right? I mean, opportunities come and go, but at the end of the day, if you truly believe something for yourself, you truly believe you're capable, or you really want something, I mean, that's what life is go and achieve, go and figure out what you can do with this time that we're here.
Yes, sir.
So,
in other words, would you say you have to have that dog in you?
Gotta have that dog in.
All right. That's all I wanted to hear.
Have that. Gino, I'm also interested in something that we definitely wanted to ask you about. Obviously, another one of your famous plays, the Alabama scoop and score. You know, as far as that being one of the biggest games that OU remembers, we love if we can beat Alabama. So, like, what was going on in your mind through that? You know, what was that, just that moment like, to be there and to have that play?
So, man, huge game. I mean, it's Bama, right? I think they're returning national champs. And they had underestimated us. I think Nick Saban himself said it was I can't remember what the phrase he used, but basically, like, this is just a free game for us. This game doesn't matter. And me being the type of person I am, I took that to heart. Like, oh, you don't think, okay, watch this. And I think the entire team kind of had that mentality of, hold on now, we're not a scrub. Y'all playing us. We're not playing you. And so I would say, just in that particular play, I don't know if CT is coming in, but it's a little fuzzy. I just remember being on the block and watching. I think it was Stryker that got the sack, and then the ball literally just popped pretty much right in front of me. And so, I mean, just like anybody else would do, you go and get that thing, and I had opportunity not to fall on it, and so I picked it up. I don't know what made me think, hey, try and grab this with one hand. I'm glad I actually squeezed it, but scooped it up and tried to take it home.
And then it was AJ McCarron, I think, that fumbled it, right?
Yes, sir.
And then you score, and then it shows AJ McCarron's girlfriend
just for like 10 seconds. That's it.
Just crying because of Geneo Grissom, she has to break up with her boyfriend.
That's a little off topic, but one thing that I did one time in high school, that same thing. I did some research, kind of mama mentality type stuff. Did some research on opposing quarterback's girlfriend.
Yes, sir.
Got a sack on the way up. Tell your girl I said what's up. I said her actual name.
Yeah.
Tell your girl I said what's up, and then walked away and got in the huddle. I tell you what, for the rest of the game, I made eye contact with the quarterback every play.
Golly, man.
That's awesome.
That's cold.
So, you know, one of the things that I had thought about in leading up to this time with you was that, you know, you spend a lot of time with young men, right? I mean, just mentoring them, training them, and, you know, not just physically, but in the mentality of college sports and whatnot. So I wanted to hear maybe what you have to say about some NIL deals. Like, how do you think that has impacted recruiting and things like that? I mean, you hear a million perspectives, but I just wanted to, you know, hear what you thought about it.
Yeah. Two things. I'm so happy that these college athletes are finally going to get the representation that they deserve, the hard work that they put in.
Mm-hmm.
But I think giving an 18, 19, 20-year-old kid a large lump sum of money, or just like, you know what I'm saying, just to be able to have that type of money when I know I didn't take any finance classes in high school, or, you know what I'm saying, budgeting classes,
Right.
or, you know what I mean? So if it was up to me, I say, you know, if the kid is worth $1 million, the kid's worth $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
But don't give it to him in cash. Give it to him in like an EBD card. You know what I'm saying? Where he can only use it to purchase certain things. And then when you get your degree, then you can take off the limits, and now you can use it to buy whatever you want. But I feel like now you're just going to have, and especially with social media today, I feel like it's going to end up being used, for lack of a better phrase, for clout, as opposed to change, like I said earlier, change family trajectories. I guarantee you a good majority of these kids are not investing this money. So
especially in college, like, you know, you're living that whole different lifestyle all on your own. Like, even for us, we hung out, like if somebody just had an extra $100, we were wild. And so like, just imagine having millions and just like doing whatever you want.
And we're not like the big man on campus who is trying to impress everyone either. We're just, you know, so. Yeah, that's good.
Perspective.
Well, Gino, obviously, we're going into Texas week, OU Texas, and it's a big game. The last two games haven't been great for OU, but this is one of those ones where we can always turn it around. It doesn't matter which team's playing great. Red River's always going to be a good game. Anyone has a chance. So, I mean, what are you looking for in this game? What are you excited to see from the team, and what advice do you have for the team, for the D-line going into Red River? A lot of these guys weren't starters last year. This is their first Red River game, and so what would you tell them going into this?
Man, I would just tell them guys, so it's kind of not a threat, but like, so when I was in high school, I was blessed to play for high school at one state 8 times in a 9-year stint. And part of what kept that going is you didn't want to be the team that lost.
Yeah.
There was a time where they were like, where my high school was undefeated for years at a time, like didn't lose a game for years at a time. And so you didn't want to be the team that lost. So the mentality, or the thing that I'm going to give the guys, is don't be the team. Don't be the team. Don't let this year be that year. Make sure you go out there and you put it on them this year. I'm looking to see my boy Reggie Grimes and my boy Ethan Downs get it done today. So this weekend. So looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Did you win all 4 state championships, or were you one of those years that it broke?
Yes, I was there. My entire high school career, we won state.
Joe got 3, so he got you beat, Joe. Yeah. Joe got 3 state championships, but Gino's got you beat. Sorry. Is Kansas like, because you were in high school in Kansas, right? Is the competition like good, and you guys were just that team, or like y'all were the top dogs, pretty consistent?
I'm just saying we were the top dogs, pretty consistent. I'm not gonna sit here and sleep on Kansas athletes, because Kansas athletes need some love.
Yeah,
gotcha.
But I won't say that Kansas football is like Texas football or Florida football or Southern football. I will, but I'm going to toot my team's horn. We were ranked nationally, so we were pretty good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I played for Jinx in high school, and Jinx and it's a suburb of Tulsa. We won 3 out of 4. So you got me beat, but Gino, I'm telling you, I was really good in 4th grade.
It's one of our favorite things, actually, to talk about. So I'm sure you played Pee Wee football, but for us, they had like a stripe system based on your weight. Oh. So if you're like a 1 striper, you could like run the ball and like whatever, and then 2 stripers, like there are certain limitations, but I always like to say that Joe should have been like a 3 striper. Like he was a big old 4th grader. Like he's only lineman.
It was
if there was
unfair.
another stripe that could have been put on my helmet, then they should have put it on there. But
Joe, did
I was a
Gino
dog.
Gino and Q Overton, did y'all play together? Were you guys on the team together at any time?
Yes.
Joe-
For
Yeah.
I think he was a freshman when I was a senior.
Yeah, so you would have played with Q. Me and Q played together in high school,
Okay.
but also another guy that I know is Gabe Lynn.
Yes, good dude
Yes.
right there, man.
Yeah,
His wife is killing it in the sports agent world.
yeah. I see that on Instagram. It's pretty
Yeah.
awesome, and he's coaching at I think it's Houston Baptist now.
Yes.
So yeah, keep up with him. That's I mean, I played with his little brother in 4th grade. Whenever I was a dog, like I told you. But yeah, any of those Jinx or like Tulsa guys, I might know. So
Yeah, I personally got crossed up on the field by Alex Ross. So
yeah,
Alex Ross left me in the dust.
He was insanely fast.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Gino, we appreciate you coming on here. I don't think we really have any more questions. Obviously, we've been having tons of fun just talking with you, talking about football. But we'll give you the opportunity if you've got anything else you want to say to Sooner Nation, to the team going into Texas week, or just anything like that. Give you that chance to say that, and then man, we'll wrap up.
All right. Well, I'll leave y'all boys with this. Tuck Fexus. Boomer Sooner.
Hey, Boomer Sooner, horns down.
come on now.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thanks,
appreciate
Gino.
it.
Thanks, man.
All right, cool.
Yes, sir.
All right, for our next segment, man, that was a great time we had with Gino. We appreciate him doing that, and we're going to jump into our
shout
Power
out Gino
5
for sure.
Yeah, shout out Gino. You're the GOAT. We're going to move into our Power 5 segment. This has become probably my favorite thing that we do now. I love this and what we're doing here with these. And so I think going into this Texas game, we're all staying at home this year. We're all watching it at home. But we know the tradition of, like, if you go to Red River, you go to the fair, and there's all kinds of food there. If you're at home, this is one of those big games that, like, you spend the day, like, cooking and preparing for. Like, it has one of those feels. And so we're going to do our Power 5. What's your top 5 game day foods? Can be something you go out and buy, something you make, a full food, a snack. And so we're going to start with that. So I guess we'll go, Johnny, why don't you hit us first with your Power 5 game day foods?
All right. So I just think that this is going to be number one for all of us. If it's not, I'd be surprised. But to our listeners, we have just a serious love affair with wings. Oh my gosh.
Say it,
wings.
baby. Come on,
Mhm.
somebody.
Come on, sister. Yeah, wings. I absolutely love wings. It's a game day must-have. I'm a fan of hot lemon pepper myself. Wingstop bone-in. That's 2 sauces put together. If you didn't know, you get hot and lemon pepper. Have them shake it up. Yeah, definitely getting those. Shout out to Noah's grandma. She is a great cook, and has always made Rotel nachos. That's my number 2.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to need that if you're going to go watch an OU game with Noah's grandparents, or really anywhere. It's got to have the sausage in it, though. That's what really makes it.
Noah, how much weight have you gained from Grandma's Rotel?
Man, a lot. Like, if I was to count the amount of times I've been over there and had it, like, that's the go-to thing. So pretty much every time I've been over there, and during college, that freshman 15 hit, and I was going to their house every week for games.
15
so,
or 50?
Well, not wrong. You're not wrong. But yeah, I mean, over 100, like countless.
Mm-hmm. All right. My number 3, Noah got to experience this. I don't think he noticed it originally, but we've talked about it since. Listen, fans, I love peanuts. I love the salty crunch, and here's the
The
thing
crunch
about
of what though?
Yeah,
the shell.
why are they?
The shell.
Whoa.
Here we go. I like to eat the shell whole. I don't want to take the
Yuck.
time to crack it open. I just throw the shell in. I get all the salt, and then you just chew and you go about your day. There's not any waste. Shout out to the dude sitting behind me at the K-State game. I go to the bathroom and come back, and my seat's covered in peanut shells 5 minutes later because you're just throwing them on there. And I had to wipe
Bloody
them
shells.
off.
Did you
Yeah.
eat them?
Yeah, I
You
ate
ate
the
the
his
shells
shells
that
that
guy was
that
spitting
guy
out?
threw down.
You ate the ones that he threw on the ground?
Yeah,
The bloody shells.
the bloody shells. Yeah, it was the Englishman that was doing that. But
Johnny,
yeah,
this makes me
that's-
so mad that you do this. I went to a Thunder game with you. This was like 3-4 years ago. And I remember setting up top with you, and you didn't tell me you did that. I just looked over and saw you eat the whole peanut. It made me so mad.
Were you
And I
saying
took
you
a-
have video of that?
I took a video of it.
Okay.
I found it on my Instagram. It was on my story where I literally put, he ate the whole peanut with the throwing up emoji. Like,
Yeah.
and I was so mad that I've never seen anybody just eat the whole thing. So I do have a video of that. I'm gonna send it to Noah, and we can
Yeah,
get that on
yeah.
here or something. But
We'll
that's
put that
just
on.
gross.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Man.
All right, moving through. Obviously, we're 4 fat guys, so we love our carbs. Number 4 here is just a nice pretzel, a salted pretzel with the little cheese.
Come on
Shout
now.
out,
Auntie Anne's cheese
shout
sauce.
out, Auntie Anne's cheese sauce.
Yes.
I don't know
So
what
good.
it is about that, like super, processed packaged cheese, but Auntie Anne's
It
cheese
hits.
just hits.
Hey,
oh my
it
gosh.
hits different whenever you just walk around the mall eating way too many of those, and then those little what are
Cinnamon
they called?
bites.
The little cinnamon things, and you
Yeah.
walk around the mall, you get a nice stomach ache. You go absolutely destroy the toilet, and then you go to Sears and you buy way too many things. Then you go home. It's awesome.
Johnny and I have been on several mall trips, just shopping, looking at shoes, stuff like that, and we get Auntie Anne's, and then on the way to the car, you have the guys that are offering to clean your shoes or chasing you out of the mall, and you're just trying to hold your bags and your pretzel and run away at the same time.
Yeah. Shout out the dudes that clean your shoes at the mall. We don't like you, but I respect
We'd
the
love
hustle.
to have you on the podcast.
Wait, no.
No,
They
not
make,
allowed.
they make, they
No
make
thanks.
the ban list with Tea Cafe. I'm sorry.
Oh. Okay. Anyways, I'm like,
I've just watched
disregard
the
that.
video Christian sent me of Johnny eating the peanuts, and I'm disgusted. Golly.
okay.
I was sitting next to Johnny the whole game, the whole K-State game. Granted, I'm watching the game, but I didn't realize until last night he told me that he eats the whole thing.
Mhm.
I was sitting next to him doing this the whole time, and I didn't even realize. Maybe
That's gross.
you're
Johnny.
already on Grandpa's list. I don't know if you're that might be the nail in the coffin there.
Yeah, I'm 1-1. Noah's grandpa is very suspicious of who he brings to the games, and I've won
my
one
cousin.
game, lost one game.
My cousin's banned because the last 2 times he's came to a game they've lost. So he's just banned. He can't come to games anymore.
Wild.
All right, so rounding out my 5, shout out to the 918 Tulsa, specifically the Drillers. At the Drillers games, they have these plastic little baseball caps that they flip upside down, and they put this soft serve
Yes.
ice cream in. And I don't know what it is. Again, it's like the Auntie Anne's cheese. This specific soft serve is so dang good.
Yeah.
And I have to get it every time I go to a Drillers game, and that's my number 5. So,
Oh yeah, that's a Tulsa kid staple.
mhm.
All right, well, I'll jump in here with my list. I've got at number 1 the same thing as Johnny here. I think there's just been too many times that the 3 of us, the 4 of us, has sat around and talking, watching a game, and all sat down and ate this together. I think it's our preferred place to all go whenever we're together, and it's Wingstop bone-in wings. For me, specifically Louisiana rub. That's what I want almost every time I go, but definitely on game day. I'm getting a bone-in Louisiana rub, extra seasoning on the fries, all of that. But Wingstop, the Wingstop special right there. Number 2 for me, barbecue. And this is more of a tailgating if you're at the game or if you're having a big cookout at your house, anything barbecue. I love ribs. That's probably my favorite. But if someone can barbecue, like if they're good at it, that just hits on a different level for a game day. Get you a pulled pork sandwich, some ribs, something like that. That slaps. So I'm all in on barbecue. Number 3, little underrated here. I feel like mozzarella sticks. Got to get you some deep fried cheese. You can't beat deep fried cheese. And for me, it's specifically with marinara. If it doesn't have marinara, it's just not as good. I know some of y'all are probably mad at me right now talking about the ranch. I don't like ranch. You guys know that. Joe hates it. Joe gets mad every time I don't like ranch. But honestly, it's kind of a good thing for Joe because he always gets my ranch when we go somewhere.
Yeah.
So, but to be fair, podcast listeners, I do try ranch probably once or twice a year just to make sure it hasn't changed. Tried it about 2-3 months ago from Wingstop with French fry. Still didn't like it. So out on ranch. Number 4. This one's kind of more interesting to me. Like we said, we did record this podcast once, so you guys aren't going to be shocked, but I wish you could hear their initial reaction. They all did not like this. Little Smokies and cheese.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom growing up.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to explain a little bit more because I finally got Johnny on board. He thought I was just pouring cheese on top of my Little Smokies. My mom would make like normal Little Smokies like in the barbecue sauce in the crock pot. And then she would make chips and cheese, and whenever you put them on your plate, sometimes they touch. And so we would take the Little Smokies and dip them in the cheese. Not like pouring cheese all over it. That does sound a little more gross, but like just putting a little bit of cheese on the Little Smokies, can't go wrong with cheese on anything. That's a favorite for me. Love that. Mom always did that. And number 5, all of you guys have experienced this. Sadly, they are OSU fans, but it's an Oreo chocolate chip cookie brownie, specifically the ones that Paula Weatherly makes. She makes them for D now every year. She makes them for any party she has. You go to her house, like Joe and I, if we're not with the Weatherlys for like a church event, we make a special trip to the Weatherlys mainly to get those brownies. We tell the kids we like them. We tell, Harper and Levi that they're cool, whatever, but it's really for the brownies. Anything,
all for the
Johnny
brownies.
knows. Johnny's had quite the few meals with the Weatherlys. Anything they cook is delicious, but specifically if I got to have a dessert, that's what I want. So
absolutely. Yeah, shout out Paula Weatherly. You are you may be like our favorite cook combined.
It's the best. Yeah. Best cook.
If the
Shout
four
out
of
to
us
Paula
had
Weatherly. We'd love to have you on the podcast.
that actually would be lit.
That would be
Paula
awesome.
it probably would be pretty funny. I don't know what she'd
That
say,
would be
but
awesome.
it would be good.
Yeah. Just to cue our listeners in, I literally thought Christian had some freaking barbecue weenies on his plate, and this dude was pouring Velveeta cheese on top, and I about threw up.
We didn't get the reaction this time, but they were all very grossed out whenever I said that first.
It's not as bad once you explained it, but in the moment, I was about to throw up.
Noah almost
it was
cussed.
bad.
I'm kidding. That's a joke.
Did I? I was like, I don't know.
It's just how mad he was.
Yeah, I was frustrated.
Yeah,
I was frustrated.
Noah, hit us with your list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't think I really need to go deeper into this, but I know Joe will. Wings first. Come
on, baby, say it louder for the people in the back.
Yeah. Wingstop's great. I like if you can get if you do it yourself, you like smoke it then fry it. We had some of those for the Nebraska game. My uncle did. It was great. Second, pizza, just because it's easy. I've had on several occasions, I've had pizza on game day. It's easy to order and like kind of set up to where it's getting there like right before kickoff. 3. Let's see.
I will say cold pizza on a late game, like it's been in the fridge, that hits different. So.
Oh, I love cold pizza. I love cold wings too.
Mm-hmm.
Something about Joe. Joe likes everything cold.
Shout out Mazio's calzones.
Yep. 3. I'm gonna go some sweet here. Just brownies. They can't be beat. It's just great. Let's see. 4, I'm going to do like loaded potato skins. Nana makes those a lot. You got the sour cream, the chives, the cheese, the bacon. And then last, I'm gonna go with waffles. Now, that might be kind of weird to some, but Johnny knows my wife and I have like a thing every Saturday, waffles in the morning. So Johnny came over 2 weeks ago, and we put it off till like 2:00, and we have theories that's why OU lost. But just waffles. People make fun of me the way I eat them, but
yes, I was about to interject if you weren't going to say
What?
you
it.
can't.
Noah doesn't
Johnny, please
like.
tell me how he eats these.
Noah doesn't
Let
like.
me preface this.
No,
I'm-
no.
I'm a savory guy. I don't want the sweets. Like I'm a
Noah
savory guy.
doesn't like maple syrup.
No.
I like syrup. I'm just not in the mood. Just butter.
Dude,
Just
literally,
the waffle and butter.
the waffle's
Ooh.
great. Shout out Noah. He
Yeah.
made a great waffle. My man just put like a little bit of butter on it, ate it like a piece of toast. No
yeah,
syrup.
I eat it like a pizza.
No.
I don't use a fork. A little bit of butter, and you just pull
You're-
it apart in squares and eat them.
Don't you
Okay.
ever
Yuck.
try to make fun of me about just putting some cheese on little weenies whenever you don't even put syrup on a waffle. You're an animal.
I do sometimes, but it's more about just like I'd rather if I want sweets, I want sweets. I don't want sweets every Saturday morning. You know.
Joe, I can't handle
Um,
this. Will you give us your top 5?
but yeah.
I can't listen to Noah talk about this waffle that he's ruining anymore.
Pretty nasty.
I'll start tweeting hashtag game day and just a picture of my waffle before I eat it for the world to see.
Yeah, that's pretty gross. I'm gonna go bottom to top. So I'm gonna go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming in at the number 5 spot, I got candy. Good old bag of candy. Good old little box of candy.
Every candy.
Specifically,
Yeah, all candy.
whatever kind of candy you like. But for me, I really like Reese Pieces or them Lifesaver gummies. You give me a bag of them, they're gone. You know. And then coming in at the number 4 spot, I got the pig, not the little Smokies that Christian was talking about, but the pig in a blanket. Those little, oh man, the little weenies and the little things. I love those.
And the crescent roll.
Yeah, I love those. And then number 3, I'm going to put you guys on something real quick. O. Henry bars. Has anybody ever heard of them?
You would not stop talking about these and you kept going, "Oh, Henry," and saying it in a dumb voice. I never heard about him until that Saturday.
Yeah, I love me some O. Henry bars. O.
Will you
Henry
do the
bars.
voice?
I don't know what voice you're talking about.
Okay,
but,
maybe it was just a one-time thing then. My bad.
But yeah, I love O. Henry bars. If you are a Midwesterner and if you live near a Casey's gas station, you can get them there. They're like they kind of look like a peanut butter Rice Krispie treat almost kind of looking thing with like a layer of chocolate on the top. And you can get like a bowl of them at Casey's, and they're like, kind of for like a game day thing, and you can put them on your coffee table and let everybody have some. And then usually whenever nobody else eats very many, I eat the whole thing. But yeah, O. Henry bars, they're pretty good. That's what I call them. That's what my family from southern Oklahoma calls them, so that's what I call them. But they're not called that in the store. So just look for them, whatever I described. And then number 2 spot, we got pizza/pizza rolls. Now, I'm a big pizza roll guy. I grew up on those because my dad couldn't cook. But I am also a huge fan of Mazio's, and that's how you say it, by the way. It's Mazio's. It's not Mazio's. Mazio's thin crust pepperoni, cold. When it's been in the fridge for several hours. See, if we have a night game, I like to order the pizza at like 11 o'clock and then let it get there, put it in the fridge so it's nice and cold whenever.
I don't have the patience.
game
That
time.
pizza would be gone before the night.
I don't go that far to order it out, but like that's the one pizza I really like leftovers of.
Yes, It's delicious.
is,
It's like had time to marinate or something. It's so good.
And the thin crust, yeah. That's A plus right there. That's S tier.
Marinate.
I'm imagining like this guy delivers his pizza. He like thinks he's did a really good job. He gets to Joe's place in like 10 minutes. He's like, "Here's your hot and ready pizza," and Joe
Just throws it in
like
the fridge.
makes him watch him put it in the fridge, and he's like, "All right, have a good day."
He invites him in. Come on in.
Come on in.
Oh, Henry.
It's all right. I'd offer you a slice, but I'm waiting for it to get cold. Yeah, I love pizza,
Man.
pizza rolls, anything pizza. It's just, iconic for game day. But number one spot, I gotta say it loud for the people in the back.
Yes, sir.
Wings.
Come on.
Chicken wings, specifically Wingstop.
Preach.
If you know me, listeners, if you know me, you know Wingstop is like literally my favorite place in the whole world. I don't know what this Buffalo Wild Wings nonsense is, but it's trash, and
Take your
Wingstop is
time.
so much better.
Take your time.
Yeah, take your time, Wingstop. Mess up my order every now and then. Kind of be mean to me whenever I order from you, but you know what? I still love you because I'm committed.
Except for the one lady that worked there. She loved you, Joe.
Shout out to my girl, Latrella.
Trailer?
No, Latrella.
Latrella.
She was like,
Had the
you said
biggest
Latrailer.
crush on Joe.
hey, she became a very good friend of mine. And then I introduced her to my wife. I don't think she liked her at first, but she started to warm up to her because my wife's a very sweet lady. But yeah, shout out to my girl, Latrella.
Ashley, we'd love to have you on the podcast.
But I just come to Wingstop one day and Latrella doesn't work there anymore. I asked, I was like, does Latrella still work here? And the guy's like, oh no, she quit like 6 months ago. And I'm like, what happened? Because that's whenever Wingstop wouldn't let you eat inside.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, because they found out about COVID like 2 years too late. What was that?
We were only eating at Wingstop because they were the only place open. And then after everyone else opened, they closed.
Yeah, it was stupid. Anyway, Wingstop. Shout out to Wingstop. We'd love to have you sponsor the podcast.
Absolutely.
Rick Ross,
That's
we'd
something
love
we
to
can all
have you
agree
on,
on.
man. We love you. We love you. But yeah, that's my list.
All right, yeah. Let us know on social media. We'll have like a graphic of all this stuff, and let us know who you're taking. I think for the most part, we each had something that kind of stands out from the rest, with the O. Henry bar and the little smokies and cheese and the peanuts and my dry waffles. So we'll get roasted on that for sure. Moving on though, it is time for at least mine. I say everyone, but Christian kind of pushes back on that. But everyone's favorite segment, Bets with the Boys. As always, we start with the OU game this week. Let me pull up the lines here. What just happened? Okay. OU is a 7-point underdog. We'll go kind of around the horn. But Johnny, what's your pick on this one?
Yeah, man. I really like OU's chances this week. Originally at the beginning of the week, we thought we may not get Quinn Ewers and we may not have Dylan Gabriel. So we're both playing with backup QBs. So then it goes to depth, and I think we have better depth than Texas does. But I don't want to spend too long unpacking. I think we talked about it enough at the beginning of the segments. But I'm going to take OU to win and to cover. So I think it'll be within like one score. I think it'll be something like last year, like Kennedy Brooks has that amazing run to end the game, But I think OU wins, and it's a tight matchup.
Christian, what do you think?
Yeah, I'll go next. I'm gonna pick OU as well. I don't necessarily know how this game's gonna go, mainly because we don't know who's gonna play. That's what makes it so tough. Coming off of 2 not great weeks for us, not knowing who's gonna be playing what positions and what's going on here, and so. But for me, I just if I lose a pick because I picked OU over Texas, I'm not gonna lose sleep on that. Like I'm never gonna feel bad for not picking OU over Texas. I just wouldn't feel right about it. Probably even if I knew like DG's not playing and Quinn Ewers just playing, I still think I'd pick OU. I just doesn't feel right to pick OU over Texas. It would put my mentality in a bad place just to pick that all week. So
doesn't feel right to pick OU over Texas.
Oh, sorry.
That's the quote.
Sorry,
That's
I
the
said
quote.
that backwards. You guys know exactly what I meant. Doesn't feel right to ever pick Texas over OU. So I'm rolling with OU to cover and to win the game. I'm picking them to cover and win the game there. Joseph?
Well, I'm about to disappoint everybody. I will say this. I hope I'm wrong, but listen, guys. I'm a fan of the sport of football before I'm a fan of the Oklahoma Sooners. And I love OU, and I hope they win every game. And I genuinely hope I'm wrong. But these picks, for me, I pick who I think has the better chance of winning. So for me, that's Texas. I think Texas covers and they win the game.
I've gone back and forth on this. Yesterday when we recorded the first time, I took Texas, but I've done some research and I don't know. I just get the feeling DG's going to play. We saw that video kind of come out today where he's kind of in the background doing some work. Just the history of this game, whoever has the better record or more hype around them doesn't always win. Feels like the Cotton Bowl kind of neutralizes that, and all teams are even. And just with the recent history of this game, it's been a one-score game, like more years than not for the last decade. So I think that could still hold true. I don't think another thing like about football is you're never as bad as you think you are, and you're never as good as you think you are. I don't think OU's as bad as they looked against TCU last week. But yeah, with the spread at 7, I think if history repeats itself, it's a close game, a one-score game. So I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to take Oklahoma in the points, but no expectations for this game. Anything could happen. Certainly hope OU wins, but I think there's a good chance it could be within the 7. So I'll take OU there. Moving on to our next game. Where to go? Tennessee is a 3-point favorite at LSU. Johnny, where are you going with this one?
As always with the Tennessee Volunteers, we got to shout out one of our good friends, Al Chambers. He is a Vols fan for life. And,
Shout out Al.
I think Hendon Hooker is playing lights out. I mean, Tennessee is the best they've been in a really long time, and LSU is just not playing well. It is difficult to play in Death Valley. Christian said that earlier this week on one of our other recordings, but I think Tennessee goes in there and they win easily and cover. So I'm picking the Vols.
Yeah, like Johnny had mentioned, I had talked about LSU lost their first game, and then since then they've kind of stepped it up. They rolled through a couple opponents. They played Auburn last week, I believe, and got a victory over them. Playing at LSU is kind of what makes me look here. You know, everyone knows the legends of Death Valley, specifically from The Blind Side.
Yep.
Where
She said that. I was like, yep, I only know that because of Blindside.
So shout out fake Michael Orr that's on The Blind Side. We love you. But you think about playing there, I mean, that's going to be a tough game no matter what. It's a conference LSU team, you know. So they have a pretty good defense. I don't have it up in front of me. I had it up on the last podcast. I want to say they had a top 40 defense, maybe even top 35. So not awful. They've been playing much better. With all that being said, I mean, obviously, I think it's clear who I'm going to pick. Tennessee. Pick Tennessee to win. I'm going to pick them to cover. Hooker's just playing so good that it's hard to pick against him whenever you haven't seen that dominance from LSU. So I'm going to pick Tennessee here, even though I think it's the 3-point spread makes it easier for me to pick Tennessee. I think it can be a close game. So I think this one could be good, but I'm picking Tennessee.
Yeah. Who's favored to win? Is it Tennessee?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say Tennessee covers. LSU, I think, is decent, and it'll be a good game and everything, but Tennessee's fighting for pride. It's been a while since they've been this good. So they got some momentum going right now, so I'm going to pick Tennessee to cover.
Things don't normally go good when we all pick the same side of it, but that's what's going to happen here. I think Tennessee plays hard for their fallen brother, Cordero Patterson, who just got put on the IR this week. My fantasy team is sad about it.
Made it sound like he died. Their fallen brother.
Yeah, fallen brother on the IR. He's been a staple of my fantasy team for 2 years now, but head to the IR. Hendon Hooker's just too good. Their offense is so dynamic. They can run, they can pass. LSU's offenses look pretty shaky. Boutte hasn't gotten the targets and touches you would think he would get. But, yeah, I mean, I don't see any way Tennessee doesn't cover the spread here. Yeah, so we're all on the same side of that one. Moving on to our last game we're all picking together. TCU is a 7-point favorite at Kansas. College game days in Lawrence for the first time ever. And just a fun fact. Oh gosh, what did I do? A fun fact that I saw on Twitter today. Kansas State has sold out their last 3 home games, which is 2 more than USC has in the last decade.
Did you mean Kansas?
What did I say?
Kansas State.
Yeah, not Kansas State. The mighty Jayhawks, the football school. So I mean, I wish I was going to this game. Like the atmosphere is going to be electric.
Yeah.
You see how their fans are with at the Fog for basketball games. It's going to be rowdy. Johnny,
Yeah.
what are you thinking on this one?
Man, I'm super excited that Kansas is doing well, which is, any other team, any other like conference, you're like, oh, you're glad an opponent of ours is doing well? Like, yeah, Kansas normally is trash and it's not even fun to watch, but like they're must-see sports right now because people are like just going crazy about it. But I don't think that they've faced a team as good as TCU yet. Max Duggan literally made me eat my words last week. I did not think he was that good of a quarterback. No, we had busted coverages and didn't play as well as we could have, but I just see TCU going in there and rolling. So I'm taking TCU to win and cover. I'm sorry to the Jayhawk fans.
Yeah, I'll say on this one, I think you hit it with TCU there. Like, we didn't expect that last week. I had talked about last week, Duggan was the most efficient quarterback in the league at that point, or in college football at that point. High QBR, high completion rating, all of that stuff. And he did it again versus OU. I think a lot of it is their offensive scheme. You just saw a lot of open players, but he hit the open players. I mean, he made the throw at least, and so he plays very efficient. He makes good reads, and he finds the open guy and makes the throw. So it's been fun seeing TCU do that, I guess, and not really actually fun. I just trying to be a little positive whenever I think about them, I guess. But I'm going to go the other way. I'm rolling with Kansas. I really like Leopold, their coach. great couch, and he's doing a good job out there. And so I'm going to roll with Couch Leopold in Kansas. Their quarterback has been playing lights out, unbelievable. I think he's going to continue to roll. I think he could be one of the best athletes on the field that day. And so I'd love to see them get that win. TCU has a brand new coaching staff. We did too. So I understand a little bit more of a matchup there, but I'm hoping Leopold and his coaching staff, they've been at Kansas longer. They've got to do some recruiting. And so maybe he will have his system, his players playing better at that point. And so I'm picking Kansas in this game to cover.
Yeah. So I'm going to be honest. Kansas, I got to be happy for them because they've just lost and lost and lost for so long. But I have to be happy for them and say, you know what? Celebrate your little 5-0, have some fun. But I have to also say, every team that you've played is just an absolute skid mark of a college football team. And they haven't played anybody yet. And, I could be wrong, but I also might not be. So I'm going to say Kansas isn't as good as what everybody thinks. And TCU looked really good against us. So TCU covers, I think. Noah?
Yeah, I'm on the same side as you are. I think the atmosphere in Kansas is going to be great. Their crowd's going to be great. The team's going to be pretty amped up, but they haven't played anyone near the level of TCU, just their skill players, the speed. Duggan's really efficient, as we found out. It helps when there's nobody within 20 yards of your receivers, but he puts the ball where it needs to go and doesn't take unnecessary mistakes. So I think they kind of they jump out to early lead against Kansas, and Kansas's defense, although they stood tall against Iowa State, but large part of them winning that game was their Iowa State's kicker missing 3 field goals. So Kansas's defense not the strong point. I think if they I don't think they're Joe's eating some pizza. Shout out Farmer John's. I don't think Kansas's offense, Jalen Daniels is incredible, but I don't think they'll be able to get down very much to TCU and fight back with just kind of how stout TCU's defense can be. It'll be the best game they've seen so far. But yeah, I like TCU to cover, but part of me, I hope Kansas wins and their fans storm the field again and they come in to Norman undefeated, because that would just be a great story and make that game just even better. But yeah, I'm taking TCU here. Johnny, what is your wild card game of the week?
My game for this week is going to be Utah versus UCLA. I got to watch UCLA play Washington this last week, and honestly, Chip Kelly's putting together a team. But we all know the focal point of their offense is DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. He's been there. He's a fifth-year senior, athletic, can run the ball, and was highly ranked coming out of high school. And they also have Zach Charbonnet, the Michigan transfer, who 2 years ago was their best running back. And so they just have a potent offense and good enough defensive players to get the job done. I think Utah is overrated. I think they have some really good players, but they don't have anybody really on offense that's going to tip the scales their way. So I am picking UCLA to win and cover in that game. I think the spread is 4.5 points, and Utah is favored. So I am taking UCLA to cover and win.
Yeah, I'll go next on mine. I'm going to go little hometown heroes here. Tulsa, University of Tulsa versus Navy. University of Tulsa is playing Navy this week. Tulsa is a 6.5 point favorite right now. So Tulsa seems like the last couple of years they've been playing pretty good. I mean, I think they've played a decently good game against Cincinnati. We've seen them hang in with some ranked teams that no one really expects, and they seem to be doing a pretty good job right now. Their quarterback has 1,500 yards, over 1,500 yards on the season already. They've got a player that, just stuff that seems to be going really well for them, a player with 47 tackles. And so I think Tulsa is going to beat Navy by the 6.5. Tulsa's playing well. Navy really hasn't been playing well at all. And so I'm going to pick them to roll over there. Shout out to my dad. He's not going to like that pick. My dad was in the Navy. He didn't play for the Navy football team, but he was in the Navy, so he always roots for them. But I'm going to pick Golden Hurricanes on this one with this 6.5 point favorite.
Yeah, so I got my wild card is Arkansas versus Mississippi State. These are two of my favorite college football coaches, Sam Pittman and Mike Leach. But this week, I'm picking Mike Leach to pull off the win. And for, I think, the second week in a row, I'm picking Arkansas to lose. I'm sorry, Sam. I'd love to see you win some games, but that's who I'm picking. Yeah. Wait. I don't know who's picked to win. I just think that Mississippi State wins the game and covers.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
The line's 9.5, so they need to win by 10.
Oh.
You want to change anything?
No, let's just go ahead and keep it. We'll have some fun.
All right. For mine, this, like we said, this is our third time recording this. We recorded last night, and I picked the SMU UCF game. Why they're playing on a Wednesday, I will never know, but that game's already over, so I'm not going to pick it.
Who'd you pick, Noah?
That's not necessary.
Who'd you pick, Noah?
SMU. I picked SMU to win on the road, and they got kind of thrashed. So
if Noah wins his
game's
wild card,
over.
this is collusion. He should have had to keep that pick.
No.
He picked
the
it.
Game's over. The game's over. I'm gonna go with K-State to go into Iowa State and cover the 2 points. Iowa State's not very good. Hunter Deckers loves to throw picks. If K-State's efficient with it and Adrian Martinez doesn't throw any interceptions, which he's been pretty good at ever since he played OU, they just have a dominant rushing attack and get the ball out on the edge to Malik Knowles. I like their chances. Their offensive line's big, as OU unfortunately saw, and they can chew clock. And if they get up a lead, they can control the game with time of possession and stuff like that. They're also great at special teams. They don't shoot themselves in the foot. And those are some things you worry about when a team goes on the road. So I like the matchup, and I think 2's a good spot for them at Iowa State. So, yeah, I think they come away with the win on that and cover the 2. Just kind of in closing, for all of us, I just wanted to say thanks to Geneo Grissom for coming on. He took some time out of his day, and we appreciate him for that, and we had a good conversation. We have some guests lined up in the future, so stay tuned for that. Anything else you guys want to say before we get out of here?
We're working on a guest that is a current NFL player, so that would be dope if that lines up. And then we for sure have Ronell Lewis and Riley Nolan lined up. So we've got some good guests coming on. So be excited for that. And
I'm trying to get Elon Musk. He hasn't answered me yet, but keep on the lookout for that, guys. Though horns down. We'll catch you next time.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Make sure to leave a 5-star review and be on the lookout for our Texas postgame show immediately following the game. If you're interested in calling in, shoot us a DM. And make sure to tune in for our next midweek episode with a new special guest. Thanks for listening. We'll see you.